So it's Wednesday morning and we are sailing. Finally got that motor shut off. It's just about 9 o'clock in the morning. We got a 7:30 bridge out of Elizabeth City, and we came around the corner and we're just kind of going a little tight to the wind, so you hear the sails flapping. It's blowing. Right now it's 22 true. It's been blowing 25. Oh, now we're up to 25 right now, but anyway, in about, just when I put the camera down, we'll be going downwind a little bit. We might, oh, here we go, 27, 28, 29 knots.
Bobby, I'll head that direction.
She's blowing pretty good. And look, that means we're doing 6.9, 7.1 knots. The old girl gets up and goes once the wind starts blowing. But so we're running with a very reef mainsail, and we're running on the stay sail. And she's flopping around a lot, but like I say, in about 5 minutes I'm going to turn downwind a little bit, and I'm suspecting that flopping is going to go around. It's blowing so hard I don't really want to put out the Genoa, and I'd have to have it reefed in a lot, so I'm just using the head sail. And the boat seems to be relatively balanced. I'm only using about 5 degrees of rudder or so right now. The autopilot is, I should say. But anyway, Crystalita's hard at work over here. Chris is here. Chris is here. Rick is here. And if you look, Rick is wearing his new swag. Look at that. That's the new Timbia C hat, and he's got a SV Paquita shirt. But that was Ian made those shirts for us when we went to Puerto Rico, and Rick was part of that crew. So you guys, we don't have any SV Paquita swag yet, but it's coming. So the plan today is to go, I think it's like 44 miles or something like that. We've got 34 miles to go right now, and this says if we do everything right, we'll get in there at 3:25. And that's not exactly right, because this thing did not update with the time yet, so it thinks it's 10 o'clock when it's actually 9 o'clock right now. So if everything goes right, we should get there around 2:30 or 2:30, something like that. I think 2:30 to 3 is probably a good estimation. But we're going to be headed down to the Alligator River. If it looks too dangerous, we'll put Crystalita in the water and see if anybody bites. Anyway, that's it. The palm tree went for a swim last night, so we're gonna have to work on that to get that going, but more on that later. All right, see ya. Hello and welcome. I'm Tim, and this is SV Paquita. Come along every week as I get this island packet ready to hopefully someday cast off the lines for the last time. I come from a background of being a lifelong professional mariner, and I've had to make the adjustment from doing that to living life on the recreational side. We've just come back from Puerto Rico, and then we spent the summer up in the Gulf of Maine, and now we're going to take the ICW down to Florida and hopefully spend the winter in the Bahamas. So come along with us every week. I think you'll like it. Okay, before we start this, let me kind of just bring you guys up to speed. If you don't remember or didn't happen to see the last couple videos, Crystalita and I started in Maine, and we brought the boat down to Rhode Island, and then Mark and Gary and I brought the boat from Rhode Island down to Norfolk, and then Crystalita got on in Norfolk, and let's see, that was the one that I was showing you guys, or if you hadn't seen it, I think it's a pretty fun video of us going through the Great Dismal Swamp. And here's Norfolk here. We come in through Norfolk and we head down into Chesapeake, and came around, and then we entered the Dismal Swamp over here and went all the way down here, this whole line. And I actually have two videos. There's the regular video that I normally do for the channel, and then I also found a whole bunch of footage for people that like to do what they call slow TV, which is like an hour and 15 minutes of this. But anyway, if you want to see what it looks like going through this whole area, it's really beautiful, and if that's your thing, go ahead and check it out. I put that up on I think that was Saturday or Sunday or something like that. So anyway, that's up there. Go ahead and check that out if you want. But anyway, Crystalita and I continued down this long and winding river until we got to Elizabeth City. here's Elizabeth City, and you see the swing bridge right here. There was no room at the docks that would fit our boat, and we were going to go through the swing bridge, and somebody called me up and said, hey, you know what, there's a place here, and it's right where this little pink little boat is right here in the middle of the screen. It's a private business there with a bulkhead, and they said, you're more than welcome to stay here. And they came down and they gave us a little bag with all kinds of discount codes of where to go shopping and where to go eating and all that, and it was wonderful. But anyway, this video starts off where we get up very early in the morning, we get through the bridge, and we come down through here, and you know what, I might even, no, we'll continue like this. So anyway, we come down through here, and now we have Rick on board, so it's the three of us, and we come down, and this is where we're saying, oh, look at this, we got a great start. Nobody's coming out here. They must be afraid because the wind is blowing. And it was blowing pretty good. And this is the sound that I have all kinds of problems pronouncing. You can see it there. Albemarle sound. I don't know. You tell me. I don't know how to pronounce that. Anyway, that was the sound that we came across, and you're going to see all kinds of pictures, and it got really, really nasty. But anyway, just to give you a little foreshadowing of what this video is going to show you, it's going to show us coming all the way down after we got beat up. We came down, and this was the bridge that I hadn't thought of before. I thought that all the other bridges were fine, we could get underneath it, but somehow this one I didn't see for one reason or another. And the bridge was closed due to high winds. He wouldn't open up. He had been closed for 2 days, and so that's why nobody else was coming down. So we had to go somewhere, and I ended up coming up around here, and coming around here and getting around. And I should say that the wind was coming, the way the chart is like this, the wind would be coming if the middle of the, if the screen is a clock, and you think about where like 2 o'clock would be, the wind would be coming from 2 o'clock down to like 7 o'clock, you know, or 8 o'clock, 2 o'clock to 8 o'clock. So anyway, we came in through here and wound our way through all of this, and then came around the corner and tucked right up into here. And oddly enough, there was plenty of water, and we were fine there. And the wind howled in the rigging, but we didn't move at all. And then the next morning we had to get up. It took us forever to get the anchor out of the mud. You know, we're just washing all the mud out of the anchor, and then we came down here. And we got down here, and you can see when we came through here, once we got into this Alligator River, Pungo River canal, while we were up here, I guess you could call it Stumpy, is it Creek Bay? I guess that's what they call it, or off of Bear Point. Seemed like there were a whole bunch of F-15s, and they're just going round and round and round and round in circles, just doing all kinds of training. It was really, really cool watching that. But anyway, we continued all the way down here, came through here, went through here, went across this sound, and when we got in here, this is where we went and spent the night at R.E. Mayo Company. And that was really, really cool. And I think that's where I end the video, but this is probably a good place for me to end this, so at least you guys can see where we went. Well, we've just about made it to the other side of, I don't know how to pronounce this. Is it Alber something sound? Let me see if I can find it here and try to see how it's spelled. Albemarle, Albemarle, I don't know, something sound. Anyway, we've been the only ones out here because everyone else was smart enough not to go out because it's blowing real hard. We've consistently seeing 25, 26, and 27, 28. In 30s, but we're sailing on just the Genoa, and we have been flying along high sevens and 8s, occasional 9. We saw a couple 10s when we were surfing down a couple things, but Anyway, if you notice, Rick has changed into shorts. Rick, was that because you were too warm?
I was much too warm.
No. we had a wave come in over here while he was steering, and so his pants are on the line, drying out. Anyway, we'll let you know how we make out once we get out of the sound. All right, that's it for now. Well, despite the increase in wind and waves, the crew was happy. They seemed to like the high-speed internet thanks to Starlink. But as you can see, there's quite a bit of surf there, especially at the end of the sound when we got there. We heeled over so much, even Runa would have been happy that day. Good morning. So it's Thursday the 10th, and we have just heaved up the anchor, a very, very muddy anchor chain. Had to hose all that off so we didn't stink up the anchor locker. And we're headed for the bridge. The wind has died down, and I think the bridge said he was open. It was very hard to hear him, but I think that's what he was saying. So we are headed for the bridge. It's about a little over 5 miles from our anchorage here. We are in this little hidey hole, and the tide is rising, which is good because I only have about a little bit, maybe a foot under us if I stay exactly in on my track line from before. So that's what we're hoping to do. And if you missed any of the excitement before, after coming through the sound, we got up to this bridge, and Rick goes, "Hey, are we going through that bridge?" And I'm like, no, all the bridges we have, they're fixed bridges. We're gonna go underneath them all day today. And wrong. There's one little thing. It's like most of the bridges on the chart are these big black things, and I saw this dotted line go across, but it looked like a county barrier, where they put dotted lines where there's a county. And apparently, no, I was wrong. There is a bridge, the Alligator Swing Bridge, Alligator River Swing Bridge, I guess. And there is a bridge, and it closes when the wind blows real hard. So all that great time we made up sailing was for naught. We were going to get another 20 or 30 miles extra to pad our arrival time. Figure we're going to have to hold up a little bit for some bad weather, so that would have been great. But instead we got cheated out of 20 some miles. So we need to make up 20 miles to stay on schedule today. And we'll see how it goes, but we'll one step at a time. Right now we got to get through the bridge, so that's where we're at now. So Rick is up there on the bow. He's got the hose in his hand. He was hosing off all the mud. It was a really muddy bottom, like I said. Crystalita's just getting up. Rick and I have had breakfast, and away we go. So that's it for now. These were the only miserable pictures I got while trying to run the boat and take stills at the same time, but luckily Ricky had some footage for me. Then before we knew it, we were in the, I think, what is it, the Alligator River, Pungo River Canal? That's it. And yeah, I think that's what it was. I don't know.
Hurricane's almost back down in tropical storm.
See, I told you.
It's already almost all the way across Florida.
Nice. docking the cheapest dockage I've ever had that I actually had to pay for. You know, I mean, a free dock is the cheapest, obviously, but this was 40 cents a night. So figuring it was 40 cents, I figured we should patronize them. And so we got fuel, and we were only able to get 27 gallons in from the last time we filled up. So that's pretty good. And we topped off the water, and they have these great big shrimp. You know, they're unprocessed, they're right off the boat and fresh, flash frozen. And it was $5.50 a pound, so we got 15 pounds of shrimp. So we bagged them all up and put them in the freezer. The freezer's full of, and we also got a couple gallons of, a couple of pounds of scallops too. I love scallops. Hey Rick, yes. Can you shut that window? I'm getting blasted with rain over here. So it's just starting to spit. They said it's going to be thunderstorms all day. I got up at 5:30 this morning and we had a couple big rainstorms come through. But Rick pulls the plugs on this and seals it right up. Oh, that's much better. Thank you. All right. So, according to this, we have 39 miles to go. And we should get in there between 3 and 4 in the afternoon. We've reserved a spot at a marina. I don't remember what the name of the marina is. I know where it is on the chart, so I'm not worried about it now, but I'll tell you about it when we get there. Right now we're going right into the wind. It's blowing, well, it says 17 right now, but I don't know, 15 to 20. And of course it's blowing right on the mount, right on the head of right now. And but I don't know, in I would say about, actually I got this new thing. I'll say, yeah, time to destination, time off course, time of day. Oh, it's not showing it now. Huh, that's funny. Anyway, yeah, in about an hour or so we're going to be taking a 90-degree turn, and that will be a little more better for us. So check in with you there. Crystalita's getting ready for the turn so she doesn't get all wet with these sprinkles that come through. We met a guy at the marina who's been, not the marina, at the shrimp dock there, and he's been taking advantage of the 40 cents a foot. So he's been there for, I think, 6 days, he said, waiting on the weather. And he was like, oh no, better watch out, it's gonna blow out there. We didn't want to tell him. It's kind of been blowing the whole time since Rick got on board. Rick is always whistling, and I keep telling him the old time sailors used to say that you'd whistle up a breeze, and it's always blowing when Rick gets on the boat. Anyway, that's it for now. Talk to you later. Well, we were able to do some sailing and in the Neuse River, and the wind was blowing stink. But yeah, we were beating into it pretty hard, and we were making 7.5 knots most of the time. Heeled over between anywhere from 15, we saw 30 a couple times. Remember, the boat loses efficiency after 20 degrees of heel, but we just did that for the sake of remembering Runa. Anyway, we got to the last turn, and now we're motoring. We had to take the sails in. We're motoring directly into it as we go the last 0.91 miles to go before we enter the canal, and then things should behave a little bit better. But yeah, it's been fun. Ricky, what do you think? It's been fun?
A lot of fun. I get to hold Crystalita up.
Show us how you do this. When the boat heels over, Crystalita goes flying unless Ricky holds her up in place.
It's a tough job.
Tough job, he says. Anyway, we just saw it blowing 39 knots just a little while ago. Right now, as you can see, it's only 29, 28 knots, 27, 28. Yeah, so it's been blowing. We're hoping to see a little bit better when we get into the canal, and hope it's even better at the dock. We made reservations at a dock in Morehead City, and I'm trying to meet a friend there, a viewer, somebody I've never met before, who might be helping me on one of the electric projects that I'm working on. Portside Marina, that's the one that I'm going to. So maybe you'll see some of that if we make it. All right, see you guys. Spoiler, we did make it. But that's a story for the next week. So maybe we'll see you then. But until then, I hope you liked the video. Maybe you consider subscribing if you haven't. Ring the bell, all that good stuff. And if you want to support the production of these videos, you can head on over to our Patreon page. I'll put a link in the description. It's linked to my Tim B at Sea account. You'll see that. It's all the same thing. But anyway, thank you guys so much, and I really appreciate you guys watching. Be safe, and as always, I'll see you on the one.